is Annapolis, and these are the midshipmen who make up the brigade of the United States Naval Academy. These are their stories, full of their laughter, their heartache, their tragedies and triumphs. The stories of the men of Annapolis.
Sir, is it too late to go out for water polo?
Good going, Jeff. Thanks. The intramural season starts next week. Come out Monday.
Fine, thanks.
You think he looks a little too tender for water polo?
You're going to have that plain old ordinary H2O drained out. That's Ralph Kirby. The pools he's used to swimming in are filled with nothing less than distilled water.
Hey, where you been?
Been around.
You better hit the deck if you're going to get over to Carvo Hall and see your father.
Yeah.
I regret that you now find the conditions of our verbal agreement unsatisfactory. Since our respective companies have been doing business for years under similar conditions, I feel justified in asking that you fulfill the obligation in accordance with our last discussion. Just send that out right away, please.
Yes, Mr. Kirby.
Oh,
Hey.
hello.
Ralph!
Hello, Dad. Hello, Wilton.
How about that? There's a middy for you.
Midshipman, Dad, not middy.
Oh, what's the difference? All means the same thing, doesn't it? That'll be all, Wilton.
Will you need the car, sir?
Well, it's up to the Admiral here.
No, we won't need it.
Thank you, sir. Your hat and coat, sir.
Yes, thank you, Wilton. Ralphie, let's crowd 60 seconds into every minute. I took the weekend out of a busy schedule to get down here. Board didn't like it. We've got a merger going on, but I told them my son comes first. You okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine, Dad.
They treating you all right down here, are they? Because if they're not, you let me know. I'll be on the phone to Washington and nothing flat.
Dad, I've got everything under control.
Something's bothering you. Girl trouble? There's only one way to treat a dame. You got a thumb, right? Well, you just keep them under it and press down.
It's not a girl, Dad.
Well, when I was your age, there was one thing always made me perk up.
I don't need any more money, Dad.
Everybody needs money. Now then, if that doesn't put iron in your veins, you're really sick. Hey, I'm starved. Is there any particular restaurant you'd like to go to?
Well,
I've got news for you. A big, thick steak will make us both feel better.
say, Dad, I was hoping at this time you'd come down alone.
I am alone. What are you talking about?
Well, the troop, you know, Elsie and Wilton.
Well, that's necessary, Ralphie. Don't forget your father's an important man. I can't just ignore business. Is that what's eating you? You're afraid I won't spend enough time with you?
No. I'm sure you'll give me all the time you can.
Come along, Ralphie. I'll get us a table.
Why don't we wait, Dad?
Yes, sir. I think we have a reservation, Mr. Kirby.
Right this way, sir.
We've been waiting half an hour.
I am sorry, sir, but this gentleman has a reservation. Mr. Kirby?
Nice going, Ralph.
Oh, we know what we want. Shrimp cocktails, Roquefort on the salad, 2 top sirloins, rare.
I'll be back in a minute, Mom. I've been looking for you.
Dad, you remember my roommate Phil, don't you?
Oh, yes, of course. How are you, young man? Sit down and join us.
I can't, Mr. Kirby. I'm taking my folks to Dahlgren Hall. And we've got to get to the drag house to pick up the girls.
Oh, I thought there wasn't a girl.
Oh, this is a blind date, Dad. She's a friend of Phil's drag.
Blind date, eh? Son, you're in trouble.
I wish I was in that kind of trouble. I've seen her. She's a queen.
Yeah?
I hope you told her that Ralphie is a king.
Well, better. She was considerably impressed when I told her that he was going out for water polo. See, summer, she's a lifeguard at a girls' camp. I'll pick you up back here in about half an hour, Ralph.
Yeah.
See you later, Mr. Kirby.
Oh, yes, yes, of course, son.
You wouldn't mind going to Dahlgren Hall by yourself, would you, Dad?
Oh, no, no, of course not. You're sure I won't be in the way. After all, a hop is for young people.
No, no, all the parents will be there.
He was kidding, wasn't he?
Kidding?
About your trying out for the water polo team?
No, he wasn't kidding.
Water polo's about as tough a sport as they come, isn't it?
Well, it's rough, all right.
Since when have you been a crack swimmer?
Well, since always. I went to camp every summer for 7 years, remember? You might say I majored in swimming.
How much do you weigh?
153.
Doesn't make sense, does it? I mean, polo players weigh at least 170 pounds, wouldn't you say? Does it make sense?
Well, I am light, but I'm very fast, Dad. Look, you remember that neighborhood we lived in when you were just starting the business? Well, in order to beat those tough guys, I had to outsmart them. I can do the same thing in the water.
Never get into a situation unless you hold the edge. That goes for sports as well as business. I never entered into a board fight unless I was sure I held more proxies than all the others combined. That's the way I got, and that's the way I keep control of the company.
I don't want to control anything. I just want to play water polo.
Well, I'm proud to know that you feel that way about it, but whatever it is you want to do, try to do it in some way where you won't be clobbered in the process.
Dad, I want to do this because...
No one has to make a sucker play. I don't want you to go out for the team. You'll only wind up with your insides full of water. Ah, here we are. This is what we've been waiting for. Come on there. Dig in, Ralphie. Sure, my boy could have gone to a lot of colleges, but I wanted him to come here to the Naval Academy. I tell you, Commander...
Lieutenant, Mr. Kirby, just Lieutenant.
Oh, sorry, Lieutenant. But there is something about the Academy that gets in your blood. The spirit, the uniforms, the music. I really feel that Ralph embodies all that.
Let's take a break, huh?
It's an occupational hazard,
Well, what is?
having a parent.
Oh, well, he doesn't embarrass me.
Of course he doesn't.
Of course he does. He's out of his element down here. He's used to business, hammer and tonguing it all the time. And he's proud of his success and all the money he's made. And...
I like him.
Oh, well, I do, too. It's just that I wish to heaven he'd let me run my own life.
Would you like to powder your nose? We'll be back in a few moments.
Okay.
You got quite a doll there, Ralph.
Oh, well, thanks.
Father bring her down from New York for you?
No. No.
What's the idea?
Well, Ralph has his father doing so much for him, and Mr. Kirby has so much influence. You see? Did you ask your father to tell the brass how to run this country? Otherwise, I'm afraid we'll end up as a second-rate power.
You know, Jeff, you're a lot more attractive with your mouth shut.
I like to talk.
You do, huh?
Take it easy, Ralph. Why don't you get off his back?
You the USS nursemaid?
Well, what have you got against him?
I got nothing against him. I like him. But I'm just tired of hearing what a big wheel his old man is. About how much influence he packs.
You never heard it from Ralph.
The old man's got his thumb on him so tight he can't talk.
Well, he doesn't want it that way. He can take care of himself.
Well, he'll have plenty of chances to prove that in the pool next week.
That boy really bounces.
You think he's hurt?
The boy is great. Fast as a dolphin. If he can stand this pace, we've got a great forward in the first bat.
That's enough for today, Kirby.
You won't see him tomorrow. He knows he can't make it without his old man to run interference for him.
Kirby. 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 Here. Running white. Running black.
Water polo that important to you?
Nope.
I don't know what you're trying to prove. But you have to kill yourself to do it?
You're beginning to sound like a broken record.
Yeah. Of course, I could ease things, maybe. I could take Jeff Gaddis into the gym and beat his brains out.
Sure.
I could repeat that every day until he let up on you.
Oh, you better stay out of this.
Okay. Here's a letter for you. I just don't like to see a guy in Misery Hall every day.
I appreciate your offer, Phil, but I think I'd better handle this myself. Oh, my father's coming in Saturday.
Well, you expected him, didn't you?
He said he might not come. He had a big merger going.
Well, now, you see, little old Ralph is more important than a big new merger.
Yeah, but he still doesn't know I'm playing water polo.
Well, why didn't you tell him?
I don't tell my father anything. He tells me.
He looks pretty good, doesn't he?
Yes.
Got it? Yes, sir. I like the way you play, Gaddis. You got a lot of drive. Just one thing. Don't drive against one man harder than any of the others.
You mean Kirby?
I mean Kirby.
Stop worried about him. He's the only guy in the pool who can outplay me.
I just thought I mentioned it.
Maybe I was a little rough on him. But I learned something from him. When a little guy stands on his own 2 feet and tries, he can beat anyone or anything with no help from anywhere. Wouldn't it be a great thing if he could learn it too?
Get in there and play.
Okay, let's try 2-4. That's the story, sir. And I think the best thing to do would be to give up water polo.
Do you really want to give up water polo, Mr. Kirby?
No, sir. But my father told me...
Yes, I know. You weren't hurt too badly, were you?
Oh, no, it's just a slight sprain, sir. It'll be fine in a few days.
Every father wants to do what's best for his son, Mr. Kirby. Protect him, save him from the mistakes that he himself made. That's the way it should be. But we grow up. That's where the trouble begins. Sometimes they don't realize it.
Well, yes, but in a way, my father has a point, sir. He told me I'm a little small for water polo.
From what the coach has told me, that hasn't been a handicap to you so far.
But my father doesn't approve, sir. And his judgment is usually pretty right.
A man must make his own decisions, Mr. Kirby. That if we do that, weighing the situation carefully, knowing we're right, you'll earn your father's respect.
Well, how do you know when you're right, sir?
You don't. But whether you're right or wrong, if you believe in yourself, you've got your own respect. And generally, the respect of others goes along with it. That's the primary purpose of this academy, Mr. Kirby.
It's a bonehead thing to do. Why don't you just stick your neck on a railroad track? I take time out from an important board meeting to come down here and see you, and what do I find? My son almost crippled. I told you not to play water polo.
Yeah, but I wanted to.
Obviously, you haven't even got sense enough to walk across the street by yourself.
Dad, I'd rather get hit by a truck than stay on the sidewalk all of my life.
All right, and what's that supposed to mean?
That means that I want to stand on my own 2 feet.
Look, I've taken falls so you don't have to. You're not going to eat day-old bread like I had to. You're not going to go without an education like I had to. You're not going to have to fight on your hands and knees to get to the top like I had to. You're going to eat clean, look clean, live clean. Any mistakes to be made in this family, I'll make them, not you. Ralphie, what are we getting in a Brannigan for? All because you got hurt doing something I told you not to do. Well, forget it. It's over and done with.
No, that's fine.
You've learned your lesson, that's that.
You were right about one thing, Dad. You can get hurt playing water polo.
As long as you've learned your lesson.
But as soon as my shoulder heals, I'm going out again.
What is so important about water polo?
What's important is that for once I do what I want, not what you want.
Everything I've done is for your good.
Yes, but you can't live my life for me. You can't make people like me by doing things for them. You can't impress people for me by telling them how important you are.
Are you ashamed of me? Is that it?
Oh, no.
You don't want anything from me, huh? Well, you weren't ashamed of me when I wrote to Senator Morgan. When I fixed it so you could get the appointment to the academy.
Well, I never mailed that letter.
You never mailed it?
Mm-mm. I took the written examination myself and passed. I did it myself. I got that appointment myself. You see, some things even Tom Kirby can't fix. Don't you understand, Dad? You can't fix an appointment to the academy, so I had to get it on my merits. I did it myself.
Well, after all, Ralph, he flew down here to see you. How can you not see him?
I want to see him, but I can't go to him. He's too stubborn to come to me.
Now, maybe you're wrong about that. Maybe he'll come over here and pick you up.
No. He's sitting in his hotel room right now figuring I'll break down and telephone him and beg him to forgive me. Well, why shouldn't he? It's always been that way before. That's why I've got to break that pattern now.
Say, Ralph, there's a girl downstairs. She says she belongs to you.
She's early. We're not supposed to see them till after dinner.
Hi.
Hi, Ralph.
Well, you're early.
Well, yes, I know. I just talked with your father.
Well, now look, Pat, if you come over here to get me to give in to him again, it's no good. This is something no one can settle but the two of us.
Well, maybe if you sat down and discussed it reasonably.
There's nothing left to say. He knows what I want. I've got to make my own decisions. Oh, it's not as if he hasn't done enough for me. He has. But I want to start on my own now. It's as simple as that. He's got to learn to respect my independence as much as I respect his.
He does. Oh, I'm sure he does. Please, just give him one more chance to prove it.
All right. If he really does, I'll talk to him again.
Oh, wonderful.
The sooner the better. I'll pick you up for dinner.
Come in.
Hello, Dad.
Ralphie.
Now, look, Dad, there's no reason for us to fight with each other. I've got to think and act for myself, and you've got to accept it.
Well, who's fighting? Takes a smart businessman to know when to pull in his horns. If you can't beat him, join him. I'm joining him.
Well, it's got to be a full partnership, Dad. Otherwise, we're both making a bad deal.
I've never made a bad deal in my life. Well, this calls for a celebration. Just the two of us. I'll make all the arrangements. We'll have dinner, go up to Washington.
Now, wait a minute, Dad.
Oh, what's the matter?
Well, you're going right back where we started.
Oh, I'm sorry, son. You got to give me time. You've learned a lot. You got to give an old hard head like me a chance to catch up with you.
Well, okay. Now, you unpack that bag, and you're coming out to dinner with Pat and me. And, Dad, you order anything you want for dinner. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes, this is Annapolis, the United States Naval Academy, proud of its dignity, its history, its traditions, but most of all, proud of its men. Next week, we will bring you another story of the men of Annapolis. Ralph Kirby was played by Mark Damon. Kirby Sr. by Lyle Talbot. Jeff Gaddis by L.Q. Jones.